Hey guys, Sun Kaloku here again. Here's my next video, and I did promise this in my video update. I'm going to talk about Legend of Korra Season 1. Now, I am nearly halfway through Season 2, and I'm not quite ready to talk about it yet, but this is my third attempt of making this bloody video, and I'm going to do it now. This is my last attempt. Alright, so, here it is. So, before I talk about Korra, let me talk about Avatar. I think this series is awesome. Avatar: The Last Airbender. So not the movie. The movie was shit. But Avatar was a great series that stands on its own and is up there with Dragon Ball Z and Batman the Animated Series just alone in terms of animation and good storytelling. Along with other shows as well. You know, sorry if I'm being biased about Dragon Ball, but I really love Dragon Ball. This is not Dragon Ball, unfortunately. But, you know, I'm a fan of other things, not just Dragon Ball Z. It's good to have an outside life as well. Yeah, so I think the series is really good. I think it's very well structured. I think it has a really good start from beginning to end. So basically, you start out with Aang, and then you go up to the whole big climax with him and the Fire Lord. So now, how do we get there from Korra? So now, the story of Korra is now Aang is the past generation of the Avatar, and now it's being passed down to Korra. So Korra is... well, she knows she's the Avatar, and she knows she has all these other bending skills. The only bending skill that she cannot master is the airbending skill. And she learns that, she starts to learn that through the series, and she manages to catch into it quite quickly. In fact, she starts to go to this game, which is a little bit like Sandar meets basketball, or dodgeball more like. But she starts to kind of bring it out more like in the dance, so a bit like in the Bagua style Tai Chi form, which is very familiar to me again. Since I do martial arts, I can see a lot of these similarities with other styles, as well as just, you know, just Avatar in general, or just airbending in general. But, you know, it's a very clever series, you know, especially from my understanding as well. So what I think about Korra. I think it's an okay series. I don't think it's as good as Avatar. Okay, now hear me out on this. Avatar was really well done from beginning to end. And it felt like a 3-act movie structure where you'd start with the protagonist and you'd build up the destiny that he has to do, and then he'd have to face his destiny right at the end with a really big climax. So it's like Star Wars, for example. You've got 3 good films, and it has to end at a good, really good note. Whereas Legend of Korra, I mean, I haven't watched the whole series yet, but so far I'm not liking these protagonists that much. Korra is annoying. I think she is one of the most annoying characters in the whole series. She can be okay at times, but when she's whiny and trying to prove her point, she comes across as very much, let me say, teenagery in a kind of way. I mean, she's a teenager, of course, but she's not as interesting as Aang. Aang was a child, but he had a heart of gold. In a way, he was like Goku. You know, he fought for the right. He never wanted to kill, and he would never do so, and he never had to. And that's what's so great about his character, is that he never did. Or at least as far as I know. But that's how the series ended off. Spoiler alert. Okay, you know, he chose the right path, and for the most part, Korra, I'm not convinced with her character at all. In fact, I'm not convinced with a lot of the other characters. Like, for example, Mako. Boy, what a douchebag. Boy, what a douchebag. Korra ends up dating him at the end of the series, but at the beginning he's very much this kind of tough guy who's like, so what can you do? You know, and then she proves herself, and then he's like, you did well. You know, I just think, oh, what a douchebag. You know, and his brother isn't any better, but at least he's likable in some sense. So I'm not complaining about him too much. I mean, he is likable. Asami, who is the girl that Mako dates for a while, and then all of a sudden there's this love triangle going along, and it is the most uninteresting thing I have seen in the whole series, and that is not a good start to a new Avatar series. when you think, oh, big climax with the Fire Lord and Avatar, the last airbender, who can also go into the Avatar state and manages to control that power, now we've got a love triangle. So this is not what I expect to see from Avatar, especially in a show that is based off an amazing series and just carried it so well. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. To me, it really doesn't make any sense. I'm shaking my laptop so much, sorry. But later on, I mean, all I can really remember is just the love triangle itself. I mean, the other thing I do remember is Steve Blum's character, who played Amon, and he is awesome. He is one heck of a good bad guy. In fact, he's probably my favourite character next to Tinzen, who's also really cool. You know, very stressed, but he's a cool guy. You know, he's got a really good heart, like his father, and I can see Aang pass down a lot of his knowledge down to him, and he carries it out very well. But he struggles with it, and it is a struggle carrying that much impact from what Aang stood for, and now Korra has to take that responsibility. And in a way, watching Tinzen trying to teach her is like, it's like a big slap in the face, if you ask me. In fact, I've seen things like this before in other shows and really, really bad films. It just doesn't work out very well. But nonetheless, where was I? Oh yes, Amon. Amon, really cool bad guy, and voiced by the great Steve Blum. I'm Steve Blum. I'm the best there is at what I do. And what I do is not very nice. You know, he's voiced Wolverine, he's voiced a lot of other characters in anime and cartoons and games. He's really awesome. I love Steve Blum. You know, whenever I listen to his voice, I just think Wolverine straight away. But yeah, I mean, he's one of those, he's a bloodbender. So his brother, who's also a complete douchebag, is a bloodbender, who I thought was Amon, but it turns out it was played very well, surprisingly. And the backstory of that was actually not too bad. You know, how he was treated and how their father treated them. You know, Amon easily gave into the hatred very well. And bloodbending is obviously a very dangerous technique to use, you know, aside from fire and all that kind of stuff. But bloodbending is deadly. Okay, the first person to ever use it is Katara, and it made me think, wow, she's got an edge to her. You know, she's obviously very well developed as a character herself, which I guess this is what's missing from this series, is the development. I do not give a crap about Korra, about Mako, maybe a bit of Bolin, but Asami, I don't care. Like, I like Tinzen, I like Amon, and that's pretty much it, you know? I mean, I'm expecting a lot from Season 2, and at the moment, it's not looking too good for me. So hopefully Season 3, I've been told Season 3 is really good. So trust me on this, guys, I will talk more about that. What else can I talk about? The good thing about this series is its animation, and its fight scenes in general. The fight scenes are very well choreographed. They're also very well drawn out. And the animation's obviously a huge step up from the last series. Although the animation was really good there, I feel it's evolved, in a sense. Evolved into this new atmosphere. And it feels very different, but very similar to Avatar, which works. Looking-wise, it does very, very well at that. I'm not denying that at all. Aside from that, the rest of the series, I just don't think it's doing that well for me. I mean, I'm not saying it's a terrible series. In fact, I'm not even saying it's, you know, it's probably just above mediocre at best. Maybe that's the best way to put it. Season 1, okay start off, but not great. I mean, the best part of the series is actually seeing the flashbacks of Aang when he was still the Avatar before he died. And the Bloodbender, who was Amon's father, spoiler alert here, basically tried to bloodbend Aang, and then Aang just went into the Avatar state and was like, no, you ain't doing me, bro. And then he takes away his power, and that's it. And I just think, God, that's awesome. In fact, you know what? That might be my favourite moment in all the Avatar series. In fact, you know what? Why not have the show be based on him? I would have much preferred Aang having like a series when he's more grown up and actually taking more responsibility for what he's doing. Whereas in the series, it's really accepting himself into becoming the Avatar, into becoming the true Avatar. Why not actually have him be the Avatar and do his job? That would have been interesting. I mean, maybe, even if it's not as good as the series, at least it would be more interesting than what we've got here. Because what we've got here is just the same thing, but just done poorly. And the love triangle is done awful as well. One scene I will tell you about. Basically, Mako is dating Asami, and Korra is jealous. So Korra admits her feelings to Mako, and Mako's like, sorry, I can't be with you, I've got this other chick. And then it turns out he likes Korra. And I just think, oh, this is so boring. And they kiss each other at some point, and then, big shock, Bolin was also dating Korra for a little bit. And then he saw them kiss, and then he runs away like a bitch, like, it's so funny. And then Mako was like, you kissed me! Yeah, but you kissed me back! I thought, no, I'm gonna go help my brother. Running a bit, kind of, I think, where do you get this from? Who told you to run like that, you sissy? Judging how people run, not really my thing. But anyway, in terms of the love triangle, woo! I don't give a shit. Every time I see this, I just think, I just don't care. And then there's another backstory involved, which basically is Tenzin, his wife, who's also got a child on the way and has 3 other kids, who look exactly like Aang when he was young, but also it turns out that he was dating the daughter of Toph at the time, before Pima married Tenzin. And when Korra found out, she's like, oh my god, you two dated and Pima got you instead. And I just think, oh yeah! I don't really care. And I'm sure you guys don't even care too. So that's my thoughts on the love triangle. So overall, yeah, it's alright. I think it could have been a lot better, but Season 2 is not looking as good. It actually looks like it's being dragged out a lot, from what I'm seeing, personally. And, you know, I think what was going on, I heard, was Season 1 was being made, and I think Nickelodeon had it in their head that there wouldn't be another season. And to be fair, I don't think they needed one. So Season 2 was kind of like a dragged-on version of that, and I think through Season 3 they probably improved it somehow. I don't know. I mean, so far obviously that's what I'm seeing in the series, but I won't know until Season 3, so I'll check it out. So yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Let me know what you thought of Korra. Please subscribe to my channel. I've been here for a week now, and I'm going to make more videos along the way. My next video will probably be on Death Note. That's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, I will update you on Season 2. Hopefully it will be quite soon. This is Son Kaloku, signing out.